conocerla y nuestros invitados especiales se enteren del tema. Vamos a pasar con nuestra siguiente presentación a cargo de la presidente de IFOAM, Karen Mapusua, quien nos va a presentar los biodistritos como camino hacia la integración de la producción orgánica. Por favor, Karen, tenemos 10 minutos. Estamos muy bien en el tiempo de la agenda. Adelante.
Great. Good morning, everybody. Good morning from Fiji in the South Pacific. Lovely to be with you all this evening. I am the president of IFOAM Organics International, very new in that role, just from September last year. And I'd just like to share some thoughts around how biodistricts can be used to mainstream organic agriculture. Now, all of you I know are very familiar with the history of organic agriculture, but just to recap briefly and to use an analogy from the digital world, I guess, if we look at the history going back over 100 years, the first phase of organics we could refer to as Organic 1.0, and that was sort of visionary and founding ideas around organics, the recognition that the health of the soil and people and the planet are indivisible. Then in the 1970s, we started to take those ideas about organics and formulate them into regulations and into certification. And that's really been the focus of organic for quite some time. I guess the challenge around that is we've come to think about organics only as certification, whereas actually it's a production system. The positive thing about that is it did expand organic markets, it built consumer confidence, and the number of organic producers grew really rapidly during that time. Now we're in the period we could call 3.0, which is where we're taking organics to scale. Even with all that growth and the certification and the regulation, we're still only around 1% of production. But as has been said in other presentations, there is enormous potential for organics to contribute to social and economic development worldwide and contribute to the Sustainable Development Goals. But to do that, we need to make some changes in the way we do organics and the way we think about organics. And we need to, as I said, mainstream and scale. To do that, to get that scale that we're looking for, we need a few different things. And one is a culture of innovation. And that's about providing the answers that farmers need. Farmers are practical people. And if we're not going to get people converting to organic unless we have solutions for the challenges that they have. So that's really, really important. The second one is about continuous improvement towards best practice. And that's around making sure that our organic systems are continually improving. We all know that there can be good organic systems and bad organic systems. We need to make sure that we're building sustainability across all the dimensions of sustainability, right across the value chain. So not only at production, but also at market, at processing, the whole way through, right through to the consumer. We need to look at diverse ways to ensure transparency. We're all very familiar with the third-party certification, which is required to access markets, the regulated markets. Participatory guarantee systems have been growing in many areas of the world also, which work very well for local markets. There might be other things that we could investigate and look at. The role of digitization in transparency and integrity is something that's just growing. And there's interesting research happening around that at the moment and many different pilots underway that could ultimately change the way we do verification. We need to be working outside of our own sector. So the organic sector, often we are speaking to ourselves. We need to be inclusive of wider sustainability interests. We have common interests with much of the environmental movement, with the fair trade movement, with other parts of agriculture, such as agroecology, regenerative agriculture. So building those bridges, seeing where we can support each other with messaging, and looking at where the learnings of organic agriculture can be adopted by others. So it's also about, in this mindset, not just having organic farmers, but having conventional farmers adopting more sustainable practices that come from organic agriculture. Holistic empowerment from the farmer to the consumer is a really important part of this phase of organic development. And that's about fair pricing. It's about consumer awareness. It's about things like labeling, short value chains that are high on social justice. So there's many areas there where we can continue to improve organics and the way organics contributes to livelihoods around the world. And the last part of this is true value and cost accounting. And that's about making sure that the true costs of production of food are reflected in what we pay in the supermarket or the market, and that the right benefits are coming back to the farmer. You might have heard the Rockefeller Foundation recently did a study of the US food system, and they found out that the actual cost, when you look at environment and health impacts of the food system, was $3.2 trillion US dollars, but the actual amount of money consumers spend on buying food was only 1.2 trillion. So there's a huge gap there that is being paid for in other ways. One of the ways is the impact on our health. So they're all things we need to consider when we're mainstreaming organic agriculture. The big question, of course, is how do we actually do that? And biodistricts or ecoregions
¿Escuchan?
Sí, tuvo problemas de conexión. Se cayó la conexión de Karen, me parece.
Con la conexión, ¿verdad, Juanito?
Sí. Vamos a esperar un minuto.
No se escucha.
A mí se me cayó recién también, así que esperemos un minutito a ver si... Se le desconectó. Vamos a esperar un minutito a ver si se puede volver a conectar, y si no, creo que...
Bueno, estamos a 2 minutos de que finalizara el tiempo de la presentación.
Qué lástima. A ver. Ahí está de vuelta.
¿Está?
Hello, hola Karen.
My apologies, I'm back. We have not great internet access in Fiji sometimes.
It's all right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Don't
Great.
worry. Don't worry, continue.
Thank you. So as I was saying, this is a really practical way to shift from a sectorial or territorial approach to a widespread ecological transition and sustainable development. And I think it's really important to remember that people don't live in sectors, we live in places. So that connection to place is very important when we're looking at transitioning to a more organic form of development. The 5 components of ecoregions:
¿Está la traducción?
Agriculture, environment, economy, culture, and society. And of course, this is all really interrelated and complex. But when you're working with those things together, those 5 dimensions form a virtuous circle. They feed each other and can lead towards a more local, sustainable, and healthy food system. And some of the impacts that we've seen are on the social, economic, and environmental scale. And it's about healthy food for the local community, increasing employment, reduction of population migration out because there's opportunities at home, and overall improvements in the quality of life. Gives small farmers access to investments and markets that they may not have had, and it helps create those shorter supply chains, closer relationship between the consumer and the farmer. We're also looking at the possibilities for green public procurement. So really building this into the infrastructure of the local community. And of course, the environment, all the benefits of organic agriculture come with this: improved soil, biodiversity, green infrastructure, and all of that combines also in many cases to provide opportunities for organic or ecotourism. It aligns very well with the idea of an ecoregion. As you know, the European Union has really got behind this and are seeing the ecoregions as part of the way to achieve the 25% by 2030 organic target. So there's I think, going to be a lot of learning in this space in the next few years, not only from the biodistricts that already exist, but those that are growing. At the moment in Europe, there are 48 organic districts, so quite widely spread. And across the world, there are more growing as well. Just to give one example from Italy, Cilento Biodistrict, which is GMO-free, local, organic, ethical, social. It has been in existence for quite a long time, has 40 municipalities involved and over 3,000 square kilometers of land and almost 300,000 people with 400 organic operators. So this is a really large example of a district. And just some of the results that they have seen since 2014. A growth of 20% on average turnover of the organic farms. There's been conversion of public agricultural land. The short supply chains have been developing. Fair trade groups have developed. Farmers markets have now been established. There's organic menus and tastings in 20 restaurants and 10 resorts, also with catering. There's been a collective creation and promotion of a basket of organic local products. And initiatives are underway for saving the ancient local cultivars and seeds. They're now working with testing different forms of organic certification, such as PGS and group certification. There's been promotion of green procurement and sustainable practices amongst the public administrations, and organic menus in schools and hospitals, very important for market pull and, of course, for health. Landscapes have been enhanced and traditional rural structures have also been enhanced. And there's been the promotion of social farming activities, engaging the community in the farm. Training projects and continuing learning in organic farming and integrated territorial development is part of the overall package. So that's just one example I wanted to share of the potential of biodistricts. As I said, there'll be much learning in the next few years in this space. And clearly, there's a lot on the agenda tonight, which is really exciting. So thank you very much for the opportunity to share those few thoughts with you. IFOAM Organics International is really encouraged by the formation of biodistricts. And as I said, we really see this as one of the vehicles where we can now move organics from that 1% to scale and have really strong impact on social and economic development of communities worldwide. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Excelente. Gracias, Karen, por tan importante presentación de mucha información para presentarnos a todos los países de América. Bastante satisfechos con la jornada hasta el momento.